Good evening. The time being 7:09, I would like to call the Government Operations Committee to order on this wonderful July 1st. Roll call, please.
Folks.
Here.
Bungard.
Here.
Munns. Here. Lencioni.
Here.
Gem.
Here.
Petrullo.
Here.
Werble.
Here.
Bessner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Fulkaitis.
Here. All righty. First up, we have nothing for omnibus tonight, so first item is 5A. We have a presentation by Chief Keegan.
Good evening. 5A is a recommendation to approve an amplification and parking lot closure, which is City Lot B, for the cystic fibrosis cycle for life event, bicycle event. This event will take place Saturday, September 28th. They're asking for the closure of the Pollyanna flagship lot from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are looking to have this an annual event. There's been some outreach with the business owners, and the city recommends approval. I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions up here? Go ahead, Brian.
Sounds like a great cause. When will the music start? The event starts at 9 a.m. When do you anticipate the music to start?
I believe there's going to be a little bit of music or potentially the PA for some general announcements before the race.
Okay.
And then after the race, most of the after the race festivities will take place inside Pollyanna or the patio area. So I think most of the amplification will be before the event. Wrong on that?
That's correct. Just announcements before the race and then...
Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions on that?
Move for approval.
Moved by Werball, seconded by Gem. Roll call, please.
Folks.
Yes.
Bungard.
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Lencioni.
Yes.
Gem.
Yes.
Petrullo.
Yes.
Werble.
Yes.
Bessner.
Yes.
Fulkaitis.
Yes. That motion carries. Moving along to item 5B. Chief Keegan, go ahead.
Thank you. This is a recommendation to approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of a spectrometer or NARC ID from Far West. I put together an executive summary in your package. Just in summary, today's street drugs are often laced with very dangerous substances like fentanyl, cutting agents, and in makeshift laboratories that put our first responders at risk. Traditional testing requires us to handle the narcotics in question, put them in a field test device with ampules, break those ampules, they get a color reaction to charge and or identify the narcotics. The narcotics are then shipped to a state laboratory for analysis. The use of a spectrometer is a handheld device that's capable of scanning the narcotics in question through barriers like pill bottles and plastic that eliminates the need for our officers and first responders to handle the narcotics. We are recommending the purchase of NARC ID through Far West at a cost of $27,037.40. Software and updates are covered for the life of the unit, and with that is a 2-year warranty. The cost of this device will be absorbed by fines from narcotic arrests, so it will not be taken out of city operating accounts. It will be no cost to taxpayers. We did test and beta 2 other units besides what I recommended. And then the unit in question is also publicly bidded via the Houston-Galveston Area Council Procurement Cooperative, but was also the lowest bidder of the 3 quotes. With that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Go ahead, Ron.
First off, I'd like to thank you for putting the explanation of where the money's coming from, since it was non-budgeted. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Move for approval.
Second. Moved by Werball, seconded by Petrillo. Roll call, please.
Folks.
Yes.
Bungard.
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Lencioni.
Yes.
Gem.
Yes.
Petrullo.
Yes.
Werble.
Yes.
Bessner.
Yes.
Fulkaitis.
Yes.
Wonderful. That motion carries. Next up, we have another. We have a proposal for a resolution for Main Street closure for MR25 LLC movie production. Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you. So once again, this is a proposal under 5C for a resolution for Main Street Route 64 for the movie Munger Road 2, which is put on by MR2 LLC Productions. Nick Smith and his entire team are here to answer any questions you might have, but I'll just do a brief overview of some remarks. Obviously, this was before you previously with a much larger scope. Staff and the elected officials, I want to point out, and I really appreciate your input, worked with the petitioners quite a bit to scale back both the scope with the dates that are requested, and also the length of the route that would be closed. Previously it was from 7th to 5th Avenue, which is a traditional parade closure. This scope has been reduced down to Route 31 to Route 25. So really just over the Main Street Bridge in that downtown corridor. The request is solely for Wednesday, October 16th, with a contingency date should there be inclement weather or any overruns with filming to the following day. This is greatly reduced from what was requested initially. Once again, this is IDOT. It's going to be pending IDOT review and their permitting process. The hours of the closure remain consistent. That's about 4 p.m. to 5 a.m. The petitioner has indicated that he will reimburse the city and his LLC for all personnel, equipment, and utility costs. With that, Mr. Smith and his team can step forward if they have any questions, or I will do my best to answer those as well.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? Go ahead, Jamie.
I just wanted to thank the petitioner for listening to our feedback. I know that we all had concerns about the length of the closure, both time-wise and the number of streets. And I think it's great that they were able to just minimize the disruption for all of our residents and our businesses. So I just want to thank them for taking all of that into consideration. And just to confirm that that is something that's going to be in writing regarding the reimbursement to the city for the cost of the personnel and vehicles or anything like that.
Yeah, what we did with previous productions is we brought a contract forward that we'll obviously have our legal team look at. And this is just the initial approval process for the resolution to forward on to IDOT. So any other ancillary approvals, including the expenditures that I just talked about or you asked, will be brought back, and that'll be part of our agreement.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Bongard.
So you just answered the initial part of my question, but what is the realistic timeline for IDOT getting back on an answer for their approval?
You know, we typically tell petitioners 90 days, and that's really not a set in stone time frame. I just think that's best practices. They have to review the request, work with the petitioner on detours, any kind of ancillary signage that's required. So it's not a cookie cutter rubber stamp process. Could take a few months.
Go ahead, Brian.
I see the total for closure, the cost is $74,451. So if it goes above that, it just you just invoice. Is that how that works?
Yeah, we'll work that into the agreement, and we'll bring that back to City Council as far as outlining how the billing and the payment would work out.
Okay, very good.
Any other questions up here?
Move
I
for
just want to
approval.
thank, one second, I just want to thank the petitioner for coming back and reworking everything. It's good to have people listen when we talk sometimes, so that's good.
Thank you, too, for coming back and doing that. So I would just a quick question. So when everything's done between the police department, staff costs, and public works, that would be like an invoice at the end, and then you know exactly how many hours each person had to be there?
Correct. We track whether it's utility costs, personnel, equipment. We're pretty akin to tracking these because we do obviously host quite a bit of special events. So yeah, that'll be a process we'll work out with finance, and that's typically done on any ask of the city for our personnel, our utilities.
But at this stage, it's probably pretty estimate based on what your force would need plus the public works, and so you finally know how many.
And these are estimates. A lot of times they do come a little bit lower.
Yeah.
We're conservative in our quotations because we want to make sure that the petitioner has a full understanding what the cost could be. But a lot of times they are less than what we estimate.
So, thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Thank you.
I had a motion by Lencioni and seconded by Munn. Roll call, please.
Folks,
Yes.
Bongard,
Yes.
Munn,
Yes.
Lencioni,
Yes.
Gem,
Yes.
Petrilla,
Yes.
Wirbel,
Yes.
Bessner,
Yes.
Sulkaitis.
Yeah. Great, that motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up, we have a presentation by Director Gunderson for item 6A.
All right, thank you, Chairperson Weber. Yeah, the recognition I have before the committee tonight is for, it's not sure. Let's show. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. So the recommendation I have for the committee tonight is to purchase and implement Granicus SmartGov licensing software for business licensing to help us automate the license application and renewal process. And what SmartGov software is, it's cloud-based software. It's available on our city's website and available internally for city staff. And again, it's provided the ability for both applying and renewing for licenses online, for all the licenses that I have listed there. Not only will the licensees be able to both apply and renew their applications, they can also manage their own accounts, receive notifications when an application is due for renewal, as well as submit payments online. So it'll be a digital payment process. To give you an idea of the scope of our license process, is approximate number of license holders based on the license type. And then approximate license fees are collected last year, fiscal 24, for the different license types. So we're addressing two strategic plan goals with the implementation of SmartGov software. One is the ability to increase our accessibility and our services online. Another goal is to implement technology to improve our internal and external processes, increase efficiencies. I've heard that our current process is both cumbersome, inefficient, and complicated. So we're going to be able to address all those issues with the implementation of SmartGov software. And with this implementation, we're also leveraging some of our existing technology. We use Granicus, their public engagement platform, for their website management, as well as we'll be implementing their agenda management software. This implementation will also include Paymentus, which is our electronic payment processing software, which we've currently been using about 8 years now for utility billing process. And a little bit about how we went about selecting SmartGov. So we wanted to leverage some of our existing software providers. So again, Granicus is our current website software that we'll be implementing. We also looked at CityView, which is the software used for permitting and planning from the Community Development Department. So we had a team of staff that looked at both applications, and the consensus was that the SmartGov application had the most functionality and the most usability, as well as lower costs of the two that we looked at. Now, so the proposed cost is one-time cost of $63,000, of which $29,000 will be for implementation costs, which is the one-time cost, and we'll have ongoing costs of the software subscription. The first year being about $33,470. And this was originally budgeted in fiscal 24, so since we implement this year, we'll be requesting a budget addition for fiscal 25. And our goal for implementation is to have initial implementation online and available to our licensed applicants by the first quarter of 2025. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, does our implementation process, does that limit us to our existing licenses or our existing processes? Or if we, let's say next year, 2 years from now, decide that we want to start doing business licenses or have other types of things, can we utilize that for other services?
Yes.
Easily? Or
Yes.
are there additional fees for that? Or is this easy and fluid to increase our usage for?
Yeah, good question. So the implementation cost is for all of our current all of our current licenses correct right now. So if we want to add them in the future, staff would likely be able to implement ourselves, but it would be potentially an additional cost.
Okay.
But right now, it's all the licenses we have, which is quite a few different license types.
But it has the capability to add additional ones if we want
Yes.
to. There would just be more costs to doing so.
There should be maybe implementation costs, but should not be any more software subscription costs.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead, Paul.
This was budgeted for the last fiscal year?
yes. Yeah.
How come we didn't take on the project in that year? What caused the delay of getting started?
Yeah, we wanted to look at another application. So initially we decided to extend and use our current CityView software. So we just determined there was another potential application that we have that's leveraging one of our existing vendors. So we decided to take some time out and look at that. That's why we got delayed into this fiscal year.
Okay, so we used the current one longer than we thought, or we got a proposal from somebody that we ended up
Yeah.
not
We-
accepting and needed to extend,
We currently do not have any software for managing the license application process.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is brand new. We have nothing that,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That was why I was
yeah,
asking,
exactly.
because I didn't quite understand.
yeah, we have nothing right now.
Go ahead, Ryan.
So, with previous, website revisions, is there no way that we could have done anything with the software updates, with some of the other stuff that we've been working on? So we're redoing our website, we're in the process of that, you know, we've rolled out, I know with the payment site, but is there no way to do what this software subscription is gonna provide in some of these other edits and revisions that we're doing?
Like the SmartGov software, can it do other things as well? Is that your question? Yeah, so I mean, it also has potential to do permitting and planning processes too. We do have software that does that right now, which is CityView, so we could consider leveraging it for replacing our current permitting and planning management processes.
Okay.
You got a good answer?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't hear.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
if
other,
you can't speak up, it's really hard to hear over the air conditioning
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I'm trying not to
Alderman
yell.
Monger, maybe I can answer what I think you're asking, is that there would have been an additional cost if we added it onto our current existing software regardless. This was not a module available to us on anything we currently utilize. It would have been that add-on cost regardless.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the cost as much as if it was something that was available for us to potentially, when we were doing these other build-outs, could we have done it at that time with that, or now we're, you know, going back and saying, hey, we should add this other piece in? So I'm just curious.
It's the latter. So we, after looking at potentially kind of customizing our current software to make this work, we looked at their licensing software, which is pre-built, so it made it easier. So this was added on. It wasn't identified early on in the process.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions?
Move for approval.
Moved by Wirball, seconded by Gem. Roll call, please.
Folks,
Yes.
Bungard,
Yes.
Munns,
Yes.
Lencioni,
Yeah.
Gem,
Yes.
Petrula,
Yes.
Wirball,
Yes.
Bessner,
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, Director Gunderson.